for game number 2 of our doubleheader tonight on SWX between the host Braves and the Richland Bombers. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us tonight. Alongside Brian Levitan, I'm Rob Jesselson. Well, Brian, we just saw the girls go at it. Now it's time for the boys. These are two programs that have had some epic games in recent years.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great battle because it's Richland, Kamiakin, and take a look at the Bombers this year. They really seem like they're pointing to this year with their experience and players coming in their own. They're ranked 15th in the USA Today National Bowls. They're undefeated, and of course, they have never lost an MCC conference title. So this is a team that is certainly sitting atop the mountain, but right underneath them, that Kamiakin Brave squad, and they've got some talented players too. They want nothing more on their home court to shock the world and beat the Bombers.
We have some great talents on the court tonight. 3 out of the top 5 scorers in the Mid-Columbia Conference. Why don't we talk about the top scorer in the MCC for Richland and Cole Northrop?
Well, Cole Northrop is one of these players who can do so many things so well. He can dribble, he can drive, but more than anything, he's a Richland player, so he can shoot the rock from anywhere on the court from 24, 25 feet out, but he's also not afraid to be in the lane there amongst the trees and dish it off to teammates as well.
Then for Kamiakin, you have their leading scorer, Garrett Paxton. He ranks 3rd in the MCC in scoring. He's had a fantastic senior season so far.
This is a kid who's been starting at Kamiakin High School at the point position since he was a freshman. That is so hard to do. I don't think people really appreciate that. He is a deadly shooter. He can be a little streaky, but he's so unselfish. I love the way he plays defense, though. That's really what excites me about him, too, and he'll definitely be somebody that the Bombers have to contend with.
Earlier this week, his head coach, Brian Manili, said Paxton will go down as one of the greats to ever come through Kamiakin High School. Don't you go anywhere. It's rivalry night. It's the Braves and the Bombers on SWX.
This SWX Sports event is brought to you by the Curly Integrity Mazda in the Pasco Autoplex.
We are back here at Kamiakin High, getting set for game number 2 of the evening. The host Braves taking on the Richland Bombers in boys action. And Brian, we were just talking about it a few minutes ago. This one is bound to be a good game. You have the Richland Bombers. They're undefeated, getting some national recognition, as you alluded to earlier. They're ranked 15th in the latest USA Today expert polls. Meanwhile, you got the Braves, one of the top 3A teams this side of the mountains, and they're on their home court. They don't want to give an inch tonight.
And it's a home court that is packed with a lot of fans and a lot of passion. Kano's section on the other side of the court is fired up. You see the fans there. Got a lot of Bomber fans here too, and that's just what makes this rivalry so cool. The schools are so close together, and they just have such rich traditions across all sports.
Both of these schools travel fantastically. You always see that Kano student section on the road. Meanwhile, those Richland students, they go wherever their team goes. As we saw in Tacoma for football not too long ago. Seems like the whole town was there. Starting lineups for tonight's game. Why don't we start with the road team. Ryan Wagar, Cody Sanderson, Garrett Streufert, those 3 will be in the front court with Cole Northrop, the MCC's leading scorer at the guard position. And of course, big Riley Sorn at 7'4". He'll be down low working for Coach Earl Streufert's team. Meanwhile, for Kamiakin, Garrett Paxton, Peyton Flynn, Champ Grayson, Robert Pischel, and Jim Molman, Brian. It'll be his job to kind of slow down Riley Sorn down low tonight.
He's got to figure out a way to deal with the extra 8 inches that Sorn has on him. Think about that, 7'3". He's got to try and stop that. But Jim Molman, he's a younger player. Junior saw a lot of time as a sophomore. He's a talented player in his own right. And they're led by Garrett Paxton, the Braves are, but they've got a lot of pieces around him.
We were just talking with Kamiakin head coach Brian Manili. He was telling us that they will be without center Kyson Rose the sophomore, who's actually the tallest player on the Braves team. He's listed at 6'7". He injured his knee last night in that hard-fought win on the road at Hanford. So going up against Riley Sorn, the Braves down their tallest player.
Yeah, it's unfortunate timing, but these are two well-coached teams, and these are players who have been there and done that and dealt with injuries. It's a part of it. You know, you hate that for a kid to get hurt. It looks like it could be serious, of course, but Jim Allman is certainly an able-bodied guy down low to try and defend Riley Sorn, and Sorn is obviously not the only guy that they got to contend with here with this Richland Bomber squad, because you've got Cole Northrop, you've got Garrett Streufert, you've got a lot of guys who can flat out play.
Cody Sanderson is another guy who can play with the best of them. In fact, Sanderson, he led the Bombers in scoring last night, a 74-50 victory at home over at Walla Walla. It was Sanderson who poured in 23. Northrop followed with 18.
And I'd argue that Sanderson's probably the best athlete on the court right now, with the exception of maybe a Champ Grayson on the other side of the equation. But those two guys are the best athletes on the court. So while Cole Northrop and some other guys might be more polished basketball players that people are more familiar with, I mean, they're all terrific. It's a question of kind or degree. But Sanderson's certainly an incredible athlete.
We are underway. Cole Northrop swings it over to Wagar. Wagar on the left side to Streufert. We're going to get an early whistle. It's going to be a loose ball foul, and it's going to go against Robert Pischel of the Kamiakin Braves.
Well, you can already see that Run Kano section there in the top left-hand corner of your screen. The grandstands are bouncing. It's fun.
Inbounds, they go right to Sorn. Sorn turns around. His pass is going to be deflected, and first turnover of the game will give the ball to the Braves. Pischel pops, stops. Shot no good. He gets his own rebound, though, and finds a wide open Jim Molman, who goes too strong off the glass. So here are the Bombers. That's Wagar looking down for Streufert. Streufert from a few feet out can't get his shot to fall. Back come the Braves. Champ Grayson, top of the key, off the back iron. Here's Cole Northrop, the junior, MCC's leading scorer. Here's first shot of the night, goes for two, and it gives the Bombers their first field goal of the evening. Just over a minute in. That's Peyton Flynn from the corner. Kicks it out, top of the key. Back to Flynn. Flynn kicks it back out. Molman from behind the arc. That shot just a little short.
Braves have had some good looks here.
Streufert gets it over to Northrop. His long three. Off the mark. Long rebound goes back to the Bombers. Streufert drives, kicks it out. Sanderson, three ball good.
I like that second three-pointer a lot better. It was within the flow of the offense, a rhythm three, whereas Northrop, I think, got a little impatient there.
Molman again from behind the arc. Picks up his dribble and kicks it out to Pischel. Pischel back to Molman, baseline jumper off the mark.
That wasn't a shot blocked by Sorn, but he definitely bothered it.
Northrop, who we just saw a second ago, he'll shoot from anywhere. Dumps it off to Sorn, back out to Streufert. His jumper is in, nothing but nets for Garrett Streufert, and Kamiakin head coach Brian Maneely wants an early timeout as he sees his team quickly down by 7.
They're down by 7, but they've missed some shots that were open looks. I mean, even the one on the baseline where Molman took it with Sorn coming at him, he had a good open look at the shot, and they're just not going down right now. So I think if I'm Coach Maneely, I'm saying, hey, relax. We're in this game more than you think we're in this game, and let's just not let it get away from us. But boy, this Richland team, I mean, they just shoot the ball so well, and it's just a part of the culture of the program, and it's amazing how well they can knock down shots.
Richland a perfect 11-0 on the season. Earlier in the year, they actually went and played in a tournament in Utah and were able to beat some of the best teams in the state of Utah. And it was really since that tournament that they started gaining some national recognition. Champ Grayson foul. It's going to be on the floor. And I believe that is going to go against Cody Sanderson. It will. That's his first. Pischel sends it over to Garrett Paxton. First time we've seen him tonight. And we're going to have another foul. It's going to be a foul that will go against Ryan Wagar, and Paxton will head to the line to shoot a pair.
That was a good move by Paxton. He is so fast, so athletic, and had a nice cut there on the left side. Wagar just a little bit late.
Paxton is the third leading scorer in the Mid-Columbia Conference. In fact, last night he set a new career high with 28 points in a 55-48 victory over the Hanford Falcons. He goes 1 from 2 from the line in his first trip.
Well, finally, the Braves get a point on their own basket here. Feels like their rims aren't being very friendly, and it's their court.
Northrop using the left hand off the glass, no good. Here comes Champ Grayson. Grayson kicks it out from the corner, 3 off the front iron. Quickly, Ryan Wagar. He knocks it down.
I love the pass to set up Wagar by Streufert. He got it out in center court. Didn't put it on the floor and try and take it. He saw a teammate open, sent it ahead. Unselfish play.
Pischel for 3 has that shot blocked by Riley Sorn in front of the Richland student section, and they, Brian, are energized to start this one.
And I think Sorn wanted to fire him up, and that's the thing about Riley Sorn. He's this tall, skinny kid, and he's got this really, he's got this gait about him. He's so gracious when you run into him. He seems so kind, but he's a fiery competitor. Look at him get excited there after the block.
Here's Ty Reppy, who just checked into the game. Ethan Robinson, excuse me. Reppy now kicks it out to Flynn. He leaves it short. Here comes Streufert. Streufert working against Flynn, gets the shot off and gets it to fall and gives him the old flex.
How about that three-point play? Garrett Streufert, man. I love the fearlessness to go to the rack, know you're going to get hit, and then find a way to get it up there.
Streufert completes the three-point play, and very quickly it's a 10-point lead in favor of the Bombers. 11-point lead, excuse me. Ryan Wendt turns it over.
It was a little bit out of control. You could just see a little bit of the frustration here for Kamiakin. They're feeling very stale offensively.
Sanderson, he gets his floater to go. Everything is falling for the Bombers here in the first quarter.
I think right now Kamiakin, they're letting their offense eat away at their defense right now, and they're losing their intensity. They've got to challenge the shots more from Richland.
Ethan Robinson kicks it out. Flynn wide open for 3. No good. Rebound goes to Richland. Here comes Cole Northrop. He splits the defense, gets his own rebound, puts it up and in. And Coach Manili is going to take another timeout. We'll take one with him. 16-1, Bombers in front of Kamiakin.
This SWX broadcast is brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. People helping people buy homes since 1987. Evergreen Home Loans, making wow happen every day.
The Richland Bombers starting this game on a 16-1 run. And already, Kamiakin head coach Brian Manili has used 2 early timeouts because he's not very happy with the way his team has started tonight's game.
Well, I think he's got to be concerned offensively because they still don't have a field goal. They just have 1 free throw. But I think the bigger concern, because the shots eventually will fall, is they've got to challenge Richland a little bit more defensively. They're on their heels a little bit, intimidated. And the Bombers, you really got to challenge them, get a hand in their face, so they're going to make those open shots.
Champ Grayson dribbles to his right against Streufert. Spin move. And that shot attempt was blocked. Quickly comes back Sanderson. Sanderson from inside the arc. Offensive board to Streufert. Streufert now to Sorn. Sorn turns, fouled, and gets it to fall. The Bombers just refuse to quit. And just about everything they're tossing up right now, Brian, is going in.
Well, they're getting high percentage shots in close, and so they're getting the rolls. But then they're also getting the open looks a little further out. Riley Sorn here, I just feel as he makes the free throw, I just feel like if he can master a little bit, some moves, get a repertoire down low on the blocks, he's going to be unstoppable.
Grayson kicks it out to Molman. Molman between the circles. Here's Garrett Paxton for three, in and out. Offensive rebound to Ethan Robinson. Grayson on the far side, swings it over to Flynn. Flynn picks up his dribble, gets it back to Grayson. He'll try a three, and he left that one short. Streufert kicks it out to Sanderson, to Northrop, and in transition, the Bombers make him pay.
So unselfish the way they play basketball. Sanderson had his eyes down court, saw his teammate, knew exactly where he was going to go with it before he even got the pass.
21-1. That's Robinson on the far side. Swings it over to Flynn. Flynn to Paxton. Whistle. We're going to have a travel violation. And the Braves just unable to get anything going on either side of the ball.
This has been a clinic here in the first quarter by the Bombers, and this is why they're one of the best teams in the country.
It's Riley Sorn dumps it off to Sanderson. Another easy layup for Richland.
How about the big fella getting the assist, huh? He is such a weapon, and he just gets smarter and smarter with every game, Rob. There's always another little wrinkle to his game.
Another whistle and another loose ball foul that's going to go against the Braves. It's been total domination in this first quarter in favor of the Richland Bombers. Sanderson looking down low to Sorn. Wide open is Northrop, and he'll hit those all night. And Coach Maneely's going to take another timeout.
Rob, it's 1:33 to go. 26-1. Kamiakin still doesn't have a field goal.
And you get a good look at Coach Maneely. He does not look like a very happy human right now. He's letting his team hear it. Really, everything that could have gone wrong for the Braves in this first quarter has gone wrong.
Well, I think right now, you sometimes what you have to do is remind your team, you're on your heels, you're doubting, you're not believing anymore, you're forgetting everything we've been working on. Snap out of it. That's probably what he's saying. That's the G-rated version. Meanwhile, Earl Streufert, I think, is the hard part here is saying don't let your foot off the gas because there's 18 seconds left in the first quarter, right? And it's not a situation, or not 18 seconds, excuse me, a minute and change. But it's not the end of the game. So you want your team to finish. I have to say, I've been impressed with the passing ability of Sorn. They're going into him, and he's not, I could just see it because I've had a chance to watch him over several years. He can get up and down the court with anybody at his size, which is so hard to do. But not only is he now confident to finish at the rim, he's also looking for teammates. He's expanded his game in an amazing way.
He really is so fun to watch. Not only is he just the tallest player in the country, but he's athletic as well. Molman, pump fake, drives. Jim Molman with the first field goal of the night for the Braves, coming with just over a minute remaining. Here's Champ Grayson with a steal to the rack, foul, no good, but he will head to the line to shoot two. So Coach Brian Manili must have said something to finally get that fire ignited.
I was going to say, I think the message got through, and how ironic, the first basket they score, Malman literally goes right at a 7'3" Division I prospect and scores. That's probably the most difficult basket you could get.
Well, and from our angle, Molman really used that pump fake well to get Sorn up in the air and was able to cut to the hoop. Grayson, 1 of 2 from the line. That's Sorn. In the lane, turns around. Jumper off the back iron. Whistle. It's going to be a foul against the Bombers. And we're slowly starting to see some life in this Kamiakin team. But Brian, it didn't come until they were down by 25.
Yeah, there's a minute left here in the first quarter, but you get a few buckets and you can get it under 20, chip away a little. But they've gotta find their stroke.
Streufert. Sanderson kicks it out to Northrop. Thought about the long three, drives. Northrop gets fouled and puts it up and in. Cole Northrop, he's got 11 points already in this first quarter, and he'll head to the line to try to make it a dozen.
You see how fired up these Bombers are. I mean, they're at Kamiakin High School. They're playing their arch rival. It's a packed house, and they don't care what the score is, how much they're leading by. Anytime they get a point, they get a bucket or a big play, they're fired up. And they're just coming out a little bit more intense than the Braves here in the early going.
It's Ty Reppy. Hands it off to Molman, right hook. Jim Molman takes a look at his bench and tells him, let's get playing here. 10 seconds left. Sorn, foul on the floor with 7 seconds remaining. It's going to go against the Braves. That's already their 6th team foul.
I'm impressed with Molman and the way he is going right at Riley Sorn and having a lot of success offensively. He's been doing a nice job of getting Sorn up in the air. Molman is pretty gassed, playing D on Sorn and going up and down. He's going to get a break.
Inbounds to Streufert. He goes up strong, gets his own rebound, and another whistle. It's going to be a foul. That will go against Kamiakin, and Streufert will shoot two. Good look at Garrett Streufert as he connects on his first. He's another one of these key players for the Bombers as Erik Obermeyer checks in for Richland. Garrett, the son of Richland's head coach, Earl Streufert, as he goes 2 for 2 from the line. 3 seconds remaining. Champ Grayson will take a shot at the buzzer and no good. 30-6 at the end of the first quarter. It's been all Bombers. They have a commanding lead as we head to the seconds. We're back with more right after this.
High school basketball on SWX is proudly sponsored by the Tri-City Americans. Check amshockey.com for ticket and schedule information.
They're playing some Journey here at Kamiakin High, and so far the Journey in this game has not been very kind to the Kamiakin Braves. Instead, the Bombers got themselves out to a 30-6 lead at the end of one quarter. 30 points.
It's been a shooting clinic right here. I mean, the Bombers have been making everything. And they've been so unselfish, always making that extra pass. When they get a turnover, 2 or 3 passes, boom, right down the court. No dribbling. Just a smooth operation here.
Champ Grayson gets a pick, stops the free throw line. off the mark. Gets his own rebound, though.
He's had several open looks, and they just aren't going down for him. That's been the story, I think, in general for the Braves.
There's Ryan Went, who's seeing more playing time with Kyson Rose out, stolen by Cody Sanderson. That's Wagar, who slings it over to Sorn. Whistle, it's going to be a lane violation that goes against the Bombers. So Champ Grayson handling the point guard duties for the Braves tonight. That's Pischel. And they kick it out to Peyton Flynn. Flynn was the quarterback for the Braves football team this fall. And that pass is intercepted by Wagar. Wagar to the bucket, up and in. Now back come the Braves. Robert Pischel from a few feet out. The Braves just not having much luck when it comes to the offensive side of the court. Meanwhile, Sorn down low just turns and fires, and he'll hit from all night right at that spot.
Yeah, when he gets that kind of position, it's a guaranteed 2 points.
Champ Grayson will drive. We're going to have a whistle.
And
it's a foul against Cole Northrop. That's his second.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where it's too fast of a play. You know, the Bomber student section's right behind us, so you can hear it, the visiting student section. But it looked like Northrop might have got in there cleanly. That's his second. He'll have to take a seat. I don't think the Bombers are going to miss him too much. They've been doing so well with everybody.
Nate Mitchell checks in. Meanwhile, here's Flynn on the baseline jumper, and that rattles home.
They need to start knocking down jumpers like that. That'll make this game a lot closer in a hurry. They just have been missing those open looks.
Sanderson gets it down low to Sorn. Back out for Streufert. Jumper is good. They are shooting lights out.
You have to respect their shot from anywhere, so you challenge it and they just dribble right around you.
Flynn tosses up a deep three. Offensive board to Garrett Paxton. Paxton puts it up and gets fouled.
Who'd have thought that Garrett Paxton would score his first field goal at the 5:50 mark of the second quarter? That's how good the Bombers have been on defense.
And we talked about Paxton a little earlier. Quickly mentioned how he set a new career high with 28 points in last night's victory over Hanford. Coming into tonight, Brian, he needed 137 more points to tie the school record.
Make it a little closer after that free throw.
He's got 4, so he needs 133.
There you go.
My math is right.
I'm an English teacher, so thanks for the help.
So Coach Earl Streufert takes a timeout with his team up 36-11.
You know, I asked Coach Streufert this way back when, before that G-Prep playoff game last year over at Art Daywald, and because I just have always marveled at how well his team shoot, and it's just year in and year out. I'm like, how do you coach shooting? Because it just seems like certain people have that gift and others don't. And he said something that I just still think is one of the coolest things I've ever heard a coach say, because he actually explained it. And he said, I believe you can't be a great shooter without freedom. And so I just tell my guys, I want you to practice shooting, and if there's a shot you know you can make, then I think it's okay for you to take it in the game. And I think that belief and confidence, I somehow it matriculates the ball into the basket. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I never thought about that. You can't be a great shooter without freedom. And when you think about the great shooters, they shoot from anywhere. Why? Because they have that freedom, and the coach has to give it to them. So I just shared one of his secrets.
There you go. Shoot your shot. So here's the Braves coming with a full court press. Richland does a nice job of breaking it. Nate Mitchell, foul, and the buckets. It just seems like Richland is playing in a rhythm right now. No matter what you throw at them, they're going to have success against it. I mean, they were able to split that press within seconds and get an open look down low.
Well, this is a team that, I mean, with the exception of Sorn, they've got 4 guys that can handle the rock and could conceivably be a point guard. Even Streufert, who plays down low a lot. And they're so good at passing, so unselfish. Very dangerous team to press against.
Jim Molman, who checked into the game following the timeout. Molman going at Sorn, the reverse layup. He can't get it to drop. Meanwhile, here comes Wagar, who stops and pops, and that's in and out. Rebound Molman. Garrett Paxton kicks it out to Robinson. 5 minutes remaining in the first half here. It's been all Richland. Molman for 3. It was online. We're going to have a foul. It's going to go against the Bombers. It'll be a foul against Streufert. That's his second.
Boy, Jim Molman's, I mean, you can see the versatility in his game. He hasn't quite gotten to the point where he can finish in all areas, but he's got the ability to shoot from the outside. There's a lot of aggressiveness on defense. There's an ability to dribble the rock and penetrate. And there's an ability to have that back down game as well. So he's got a lot of versatility to his game, and he's only a junior. So, you know, the Braves have some seniors. They have a lot of seniors on this team, in fact, and he's a part of that future for next year too.
1-1. Rebound goes to Sorn. Both teams in the bonus. Here's Sorn to a cutting Northrop. Gets it back somehow. Sorn again will connect on the short jumper. Riley Sorn, he's got 7. Paxton over to Pischel. Pischel, cross-court pass to Molman. Thought about the 3. Now he hands it off to Paxton. That shot is well short.
Nice job of fighting through by Wagar to bother the shot.
That pass picked off by Paxton. Takes it to the hoop. Layup no good. Pushing the pace again are the Bombers. Cole Northrop. I guess that was a pass to Sorn, who then puts it right in. He's got 9 now.
Absolutely was a pass. He saw Sorn there. Sorn just saw that he had the lane and the speed, got out of the way, and he threw it up for him.
Pischel wide open for 3. Nothing falling for Kamiakin. It's going to be a foul against Ethan Robinson. We'll take a break. You're watching high school basketball on SWX.
This SWX broadcast is brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. People helping people buy homes since 1987. Evergreen Home Loans, making wow happen every day.
43-11 in favor of the Richland Bombers. They have really dominated the first half.
We'd have to go back and look at things historically here, but this right now is feeling like one of the more lopsided matchups in terms of score that we've probably seen in the history of this rivalry, which is usually pretty tight.
They played twice last season, and they split the series. Each team went on the road and came home with a victory.
And remember, we did the Richland Kamiakin game here at Kamiakin High School, and Richland was looking to exact some payback and won the game handily by 20 points, if I remember. And that was with an MCC title on the line.
Yeah, traditionally, both these teams are competing for that MCC crown. The two only undefeated teams in conference play so far coming into tonight. Peyton Flynn for 3 from the corner. Rebound goes to Sanderson. That's Nate Mitchell, gets it to Northrop. Northrop picks up his dribble, back to Mitchell. Sorn will throw it down! Riley Sorn has 11 as the Bombers are approaching 50 first half points. Flynn throws it away, and the Braves turn it right back over.
You can just see it with Kamiakin. They are just they've been hitting the jaw right here, taking one on the chin, and they're having a hard time picking themselves up off the canvas. That Sorn dunk was tough for him.
You can hear Coach Streufert yelling out plays from the Richland bench. They try to get it down to Sorn. Loose ball, and finally Kamiakin will control it. Paxton loses the handle. It falls out of bounds, and Garrett Paxton unable to get going so far tonight.
Yeah, I think that's really the big thing is other than maybe a Jim Molman, I don't think anybody's kind of asserted themselves on either end of the floor for Kamiakin, and that's been the issue. Is they've been looking for a guy to step in there and be that guy to pick them up off the mat. And other than Molman, I haven't seen anybody.
Northrop in the corner, all the way across the court. That's Sanderson in the corner now for 3, and there's 50.
You give them any airspace, and they're going to make that shot. It's almost unfair. I mean, the percentage that they shoot when they get an open look is scary.
Paxton for 3, in and out. Last touched by the Braves. After that last 3 by Cody Sanderson, he becomes the 3rd Bomber, Brian, already to reach double digits in scoring.
Right now, it's early.
Sorn continues having a big night from down low.
I was just going to say it's early, but 52-11, you do the math, they could put up 100 on their rivals tonight. Kamiakin's not careful.
Ty Reppy, jumper, no good. Here comes Nate Mitchell. That pass picked off by Garrett Paxton. Champ Grayson for 3. That shot is blocked by Northrop. Northrop with the handle. Whistle, he gets it to fall, but they're going to call a travel violation. And the Richland faithful don't agree with that call.
You know, that's one we have to look at on a replay to see. He looked a little bit out of control, but he got it to go down. Let's see it here. What a great job to save it and skirt the defender. And then here he is. That was not a travel. I thought maybe they might get him for the charge, but it was hard to see when the contact happened. And that was a bucket. But you've got to give officials a little bit of a break here, especially with how fast these two teams play.
50 seconds left in the first half.
It almost looked like he had an extra step to give, in fact.
Grayson cross court to Pischel. In the corner is Flynn. Back to Pischel. Pischel guarded closely by Obermeyer and gets his jumper to fall.
That is the first 2 points of the game for Pischel. He's one of the better offensive players for Kamiakin.
Richland's going to hold on to it for one final shot. The shot clock is off, 15 seconds remaining. Obermeyer sends it to Sanderson. Sanderson drives to the bucket, puts it off the glass and in. And as time expires, the Richland Bombers head to the locker room with a 54-13 lead on the road against their rival, the Kamiakin Braves. We're back with the halftime show coming up after these messages. Halftime at Kamiakin High for our second game of the evening, and Brian, what a performance in the first half by the Richland Bombers. They're up 54-13. I don't think anybody saw this coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, you tell folks that's not a typo. That's the score, and it was in fact 26-1 at one point in the first quarter, and it took Kamiakin almost the entire first quarter to get their first field goal. And, you just had Cole Northrop here spinning the lane, making a shot with a hand in his face. And then when they started making those tough shots, things got open. They kick it out. Cody Sanderson, a little bit of airspace there from three. He'll knock that down all day. And, just the fast break, unselfish play here, looking down court. Wagar taking the quick open look. I was so impressed with how they played. And Northrop was ferocious, really aggressive.
You know, you and I were talking off air about how the start of this game really seems like Richland came into this one with the mindset that this was one of their biggest rivals, and they were just going to come out and just flat out play their hardest. And that's exactly what happened. Jim Molman tried to get his Braves team back into it, but at the end of the game, at the end of the night, it was, in the first half, it was all Richland.
Really, Molman was the only player I felt like with the Braves that came out ready to match the intensity level of the Bombers, who clearly did not want to make the mistake of taking their arch rivals lightly going onto their home court. And the Braves got a loud message, and certainly Riley Sorn delivered it there with the dunk.
Riley Sorn finished the first half with 13. Cody Sanderson, he has 12. Cole Northrop is also in double digits, 54-13. We'll have more from the halftime show coming up after the break. Back at Kamiakin High School, 54-13 in favor of the Richland Bombers. And if you missed it the first time around, good news, you'll be able to watch both of tonight's games coming up tomorrow morning, January the 7th. That's Sunday morning. We'll have the girls' game on again at 6 a.m., boys at 7:30. And as a reminder, coming up on Monday, the 8th at 7:30, we'll have another edition of Prep Countdown. That's at a special time and a special day. That's Monday at 7:30, January the 8th, Prep Countdown. We'll talk about all the biggest headlines surrounding high school basketball in the region. Next game coming up will be on Tuesday nights. We'll be over at Selah High School as the Vikings will host the Zilla Leopards. Girls game will tip at 5:45, boys at 7:30. That should be a fantastic boys game. Selah, of course, went to the 2A state title last year. Zilla won the 1A state title. Then coming up Wednesday, make sure to tune in to episode 3 of Fear None football season with the Richland Bombers. That's Wednesday night, the 10th at 7 o'clock, episode 3 out of 6. Hopefully you've been able to watch that show because it has been fantastic. Second half coming up. After this, you're watching the Braves and the Bombers on SWX.
This SWX broadcast is brought to you by Rustine RV, a proud sponsor of SWX High School basketball. Check out their new sales location on Sanford Parkway. Take the Road 100 exit 7 off of I-182 in Pasco. More room, more inventory, more savings. Visit rustinerv.com.
It's a 41-point lead as we get ready to start the third quarter. And Brian, because the deficit is more than 40, what does that mean?
That means it's running clock. So other than the administration of free throws, the end of the quarter break, or the mid-quarter break, the clock's running the whole time. And that never gets turned off once you get to 40 in a basketball game. So it's different from football. When you get it back down to within 25, they stop it, but not here. So who would have thought that the Bombers, I mean, as good as this team is, would have a 40-point lead going into the third quarter against Kamiakin, their arch rivals, and the Braves are a pretty good team in their own right.
The Bombers will start with their original starters on the court, as will Kamiakin. That's Cole Northrop on the near side. Drives to his left and puts up a jumper, and it's in.
Seems like anything he throws up within 10 feet goes in the bucket.
Yeah, we talked about the great shooting ability that this Richland team has, and Cole Northrop may be their best shooter. And they have some great shooters. Sanderson, Streufert, they can all really shoot. Here's Garrett Paxton for three. Leaves it just short, gets his own rebound. As the Braves will regroup. Molman for three, and Jim Molman having himself a nice game. He's got 7.
There's the lone bright spot there for the Braves. He has played hard and played well. Here he is scrumming for the loose ball.
Loose ball, jump ball call, and possession arrow will give it to the Kamiakin Braves. And again, we see that clock continue to run with the 40-point deficit. Garrett Paxton gives it to Molman. Jim Molman back to Paxton. Baseline drive. That pass is picked off by Garrett Streufert. Here comes the Richland Bombers. Northrop for three. Rebound goes to Grayson. Robert Pischel, who's been relatively quiet, sends it over to Molman. Molman driving against Sorn, and Sorn has none of that.
Yeah, he had success against Sorn once when he tried to do that, but not the second time. Sorn says, I don't think so. Access denied.
Streufert kicks it back out as the Bombers reset. That's Northrop. Over to Wagar. Now Streufert. Streufert will take a shot. Tried to bank it in. Here comes Champ Grayson and the Kamiakin Braves. Pischel for three. Too much muscle on that one.
Good job of bothering the shot by Northrop.
Flynn for three, no good. Northrop with the board. Wagar dumps it to Streufert, who tried to get his own rebound, and Kamiakin comes away with it. Grayson working against Northrop, stops, and took one too many steps. He gets called for a travel.
I think that, in the nutshell, when you look at that, that particular play by Grayson, is just the tentativeness offensively they're feeling because they just have lost confidence with their shot. As he had a good look in the lane there just to pull up and take that 5-6 footer, even if there's a little bit of bother from the defender, and that's a good percentage shot. And he just was too tentative, and he ended up traveling, and then they get nothing out of it.
Coach Streufert takes the timeout. With his team up by 40. At this point, if you're Coach Streufert, you're just telling your team to keep doing what you have been doing, because it's been working. Both sides of the court. So with 4:41 remaining in the third quarter, Wagar takes over the point guard spot. They work it down to Sorn. Now Northrop gets bumped. Foul will go against the Braves. Call's going to go against Garrett Paxton. That's Garrett Streufert. Sends it over to Sorn, and Sorn is going to pick up the charging foul.
How about Garrett Paxton taking on 7'3" like that? He had great position. Sorn was thinking dunk, didn't see him.
56-16. We'll take a quick break. We're back with more right after this.
Rustine RV is proud to support SWX coverage of high school basketball. Check out their new sales location on Sanford Parkway. Take the Road 100 exit 7 off of I-182 in Pasco. More room, more inventory, more savings. Visit Rustine RV today.
Well, we said it before. We don't think anybody saw this coming. I mean, we knew Richland was good, but I don't think anybody coming into tonight expected tonight's game to go the way it has.
Against a Kamiakin team that's a quality team. I mean, this is a team that certainly is going to be tough to contend with and has designs on going far in the postseason at the 3A classification.
Kamiakin 8-3 on the year, 5-0 coming in Mid-Columbia Conference play. And they're going to say that it's an over and back, but they're going to talk about it. And they're going to reverse the call, saying that that pass was tipped. As a reminder, the clock continues to roll with the 40-point deficit. And Brian, you said it will not stop. Only between quarters and the mid-quarter break.
Or with free throws as well.
Jim Molman with the tough offensive rebound. Jim Molman has been a bright spot for this Kamiakin Braves team tonight. And he's had the task, he was handed the task of going up against 7'4" Riley Sorn.
Yeah, that was not supposed to be his task, but then their starting center, the Braves, Kyson Rose, got hurt. And so that became Molman's task, and he's certainly tried to live up to the task there.
Sorn with the block.
And that's part of what's happened here is he's basically forced. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of blocks in the game tonight, but he's forced the Braves to be outside shooters, and they haven't been able to knock out the shots 15 feet or further away from the rim.
Molman again. This time he gets revenge against Sorn.
Used his speed there nicely to get around him.
Molman's got 9. He's got half of Kamiakin's offense. Sorn going at him this time. And Molman is going to get called with a foul. And looks like things are starting to get kind of chippy out there, Brian.
Yeah, I thought I saw a little bit of a push in the chest by Paxton on Northrop.
The whistle. We're going to have a double foul. And Coach Manili is going to get teed up.
Yeah, we're seeing some jawing back and forth between Kamiakin and Richland players. I mean, it's maybe to the casual fan it's entertaining, but these are two classy programs, and I know the coaches want to keep it in check. Both teams are, they got a lot of talent and a lot of talented players, play with a lot of intensity, and they just have to keep it in check here, make sure they don't do anything they regret that could impact their seasons going forward.
Yeah, it looks like Northrop and Grayson were having words with each other before the previous whistle.
And I thought it might have been Paxton. Am I wrong, or was it Grayson?
It was Grayson and Northrop, and both are getting called with the foul. And then it was Manili who didn't like the call, and he got teed up.
I think he felt that it was a one-way situation.
So Streufert hits both.
Well, it's running clock, but in situations like this, the clock does stop.
And we're just kind of seeing, how big of a rivalry this is. Obviously, if you're the Braves, you love playing the Bombers. You're excited for this game. You circle this game on the calendar, especially the one at home. And the last thing you want to do is get beat like this. Loose ball foul is going to go against Wagar as he threw an elbow in the side of Jim Molman.
Let's take another look right here. Paxton with the steal, and then, I don't think it was too aggressive or malicious. It was just two guys hustling down court, and Molman was kind of in Wagar's way. That's a bang thing. In football we see a lot more of this, but you're a little bit further removed from the field, and it's a contact sport with helmets and pads. But we would always see with Kamiakin, Richland in football, our fair share of unsportsmanlike. And that's just, a little bit late hit or just a little tugging after a play. So seeing it here on the basketball court too.
Foul's going to go against Sorn with the clock continuing to wind down on the third quarter. Jim Molman wide open on the inbounds. 3 seconds remaining. Sanderson's not going to be able to get a shot off. It was good, but he didn't get it off in time. 58-20 as we head into the fourth quarter. We're back with more right after this. You're watching high school basketball on SWX.
High school basketball on SWX is proudly sponsored by the Tri-City Americans. Check amshockey.com for ticket and schedule information.
Quarter number 4, 58-20 in favor of the Bombers. It's been all Bombers all night. As the fourth quarter gets started, Northrop with the passes, he's falling down. Sanderson. Sorn with the jam! And Coach Streufert is going to take a quick timeout, and he's going to get his replacements into the game.
Well, that was an interesting sequence of events right there. You see this here, Streufert, the great tap back to Sorn on the loose ball after the missed shot from Sanderson. And Northrop, before that, had kind of got pushed to the ground as he was trying to pass it off to Sanderson. Sanderson got off a poor shot. Didn't really have a chance to set his feet the way he wanted to because of the pass from Northrop. But I love the play by Streufert there. Everybody's going to focus on Sorn and his dunk, and it was certainly an exclamation point on things. But to me, that whole play there was set up by Streufert. Not only having the presence of mind to hustle after the loose ball, but to know where to tap it to set up one of his teammates.
If you're just tuning in, the Bombers got out to a 30-6 lead at the end of the first quarter. Went up 54-13 at the half and have just controlled tonight's game from start to finish so far. Here's Grayson with the drive and the foul. It's going to be a blocking foul against Erik Obermeyer.
Yeah, I'm looking out right now. We've got, with the exception of Wagar, just reserves out on the court for Richland here the rest of the way, and Kamiakin's got largely starters back out on the court still with Grayson, Paxton, and Flynn.
Grayson completes the three-point play. There's Wagar. Sends it down low to Carl Volmer. Whistle. It's going to be a foul against the Braves. It goes against Peyton Flynn. 15th foul against the Braves. There's Nate Mitchell. Back out to Obermeyer. Plays catch with Mitchell. Wagar for three. Nails it.
Yeah, he had way too much room to shoot that, and Bombers were able just all game long to get just too comfortable in their shots. You know, and you have to disrupt a great shooting team like this. You can't let them have easy baskets. It's not easy to do.
Grayson from inside the paint. Rebound, Bombers. Obermeyer, they send it into Volmer. Volmer back outside. Mitchell, baseline drive. Kicks it back out. Wagar, another three-point attempt off the back iron. Big rebound goes to Champ Grayson and has his pocket picked. Meanwhile, here's Wagar who lays it in. (65-23). Brian, we're seeing just how much depth this Richland Bombers squad has.
Well, a lot of times what happens is you have reserves who have fresh legs, and they're just thrilled to be out on the court for an entire quarter, and they're playing hard because they want to earn some more minutes later on in the season.
Nate Mitchell, baseline jumper.
In a way, it might almost be harder for Kamiakin here to compete the rest of the way because you got fresh legs and you got a lot of back-end varsity players who want minutes and who want to earn time.
Remember, Kamiakin was in an absolute battle last night on the road against a tough Hanford team. They were able to come away with a 55-48 win, but that was not an easy victory by any means. Heading over to Hanford, the Falcons have a tough squad this year.
They have a squad, by the way, that's pretty deep too. That's what I liked about them. They last year they were kind of Ben Seaman and everybody else. This year they've got 4 or 5 guys who can put up 10, 15 points on you.
Connor Woodward having a good year, as is Garrett Horner. Another foul will go against the Braves.
Foul on the floor, number 15, Peyton Flynn. That's his third, team sixth.
But certainly, I mean, as good as Hanford is, Richland is the team to beat. And they're showing why tonight, why they're getting some national recognition.
Well, what I admire about this Richland team is they know where they're at and where the bar is, but they still come every night and they play hard.
We'll take a break. We're back with more right after this.
This SWX broadcast is brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. People helping people buy homes since 1987. Evergreen Home Loans, making wow happen every day.
The gym is starting to slowly empty out. The fans of the home team not very happy with tonight's outcome. It's been all Bombers. Grayson with a nice play there.
Those shots just were not going down for him tonight.
And you know, despite being down by 40, Brian, the top players for the Braves are still playing hard. We saw Garrett Paxton with the steal, and saw him go up strong there and get fouled. And
yeah, but Paxton, I mean, this is one of these games. It's humbling for him as a senior. That's just his 5th point right there, that free throw. I mean, this is a guy that's, you know, among the league leaders in scoring in the MCC at close to 18 points a game.
yeah, 3rd in the league. And if everything goes as planned, they'll leave Kamiakin as its all-time leading scorer. Rebound Bombers. Nate Mitchell tried to send one down low to Volmer. High off the glass goes Grayson, and he gets fouled, so he'll head to the line to shoot a pair.
Foul, Richland, number 14, Garrett Streufert.
I think we're so used to seeing Champ Grayson, dominate on a football field. I mean, he's made some plays. I mean, really the most incredible catch of the season, several of them. We had one against Chiawana. We had one against Richland. I mean, there's several that I can think of. And so to see Grayson, to see this Braves team humbled on any type of, athletic endeavor like this is rare to see for sure.
Grayson is headed to Eastern Washington next fall to play on the Inferno for Coach Aaron Best. Paxton still playing hard, as we just talked about. Looks like he took an elbow to the mouth.
Yeah.
But he's going to get called with the foul.
Yeah, I don't think he hasn't been very happy here. I could tell he's just been frustrated. But he's still a great player, and sometimes you just run up a team like Richland. It humbles you, but when it happens early in the season, still early January, plenty of time to figure things out. Shoot, Richland played Gonzaga Prep back in December last school year, and they lost by 28 first game in December, and the game went to triple overtime the next time they played. So things can happen, things can change, Who knows? Second time these two teams play, you're just a little more angry, a little more ready.
McCullough hits both.
It's just when you dig yourself a 26-1 hole in the first quarter. I mean, that's really hard to come back from. It can be demoralizing, and it was tonight for Kamiakin, clearly.
Ethan Robinson, his floater is short. Rebound, Nate Mitchell. Bombers still pushing the tempo. That one last touched by the Braves. Erik Obermeyer squares up. Little too strong. Jim Molman with the rebound. Molman in the corner. Puts one off the glass and in. Yeah. That's more like Jim Molman. He's used to going up against guys his own size. And you can see just how good he really is. And I mean, he had a stellar night going up against Riley Sorn.
Yeah, he's been a bright spot here. Sometimes, it's just not your night, but you see that you got a little fight in Molman, and you just gotta harness that. Harness what 41's bringing to the table and let that feed off the rest of the team.
That's Mitchell over to Streufert, who's back into the game. Obermeyer gives it back to Streufert. Kicks it out to Mitchell. Back to Streufert with 6 on the clock. Streufert gets it back out of bounds, and Kamiakin will retake possession with under 50 seconds left.
Well, for Kamiakin, Mama said there'd be days like this, and sometimes there are.
Jimmy Molman goes up strong. He's got 15. McCullough comes back at him, and he'll head to the line to shoot 2 as the clock continues to wind down. A dominating performance for the Braves. For the Bombers.
Even with the second unit in here for most of this fourth quarter, they're still up 36 points, Rob, with 17 seconds left in the basketball game.
Richland gets it right back. As time winds down, Ethan Robinson tries to get a layup to go. And we're going to whistle, but that will do it. The Richland Bombers go on the road to Kamiakin High and put a dominating win together. And they beat their rival, the Braves, 68-32, the final score.
Yeah, this was just domination by the Bombers. Just a great all-around effort by the team, and they shot the lights out here at Kamiakin High School tonight.
Well, that'll do it. For my partner, Brian Levitan, and the rest of our SWX crew, thanks so much for watching. Reminder, we'll see you on Monday night for a special edition of Prep Countdown at 7:30 p.m. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time.